Protesters show up at a local judge's home after he sends a former colleague to jail. Good evening, everyone. This caps a dramatic day in Cincinnati, all centering around a former juvenile court judge who tonight is a jail inmate.
And it all started when Judge Patrick Dinkelacker upheld Tracie Hunter's 6-month sentence. That led to this.
Mr. and Ms. Deputy, you can take her away.
Hunter fought her felony conviction for nearly 5 years. And as Walter Smith Randolph reports, Hunter's supporters are continuing that fight.
He's outside the Hamilton County Justice Center for us tonight. Walter, what's the very latest here?
Well, Cammie and Kyle, it really was a sight to see in that Green Township neighborhood as those protesters marched up and down the sidewalk out front of the judge's home while he was actually inside. Now, also at that protest was State Senator Cecil Thomas, who says that Tracie Hunter is a political prisoner. He also says expect more protests just like this one in the coming days. It was a combination of prayer
She sits behind enemy lines
and protest.
Black judges matter.
Outside of Judge Patrick Dinkelacker's Green Township home Monday, State Senator Cecil Thomas says Tracie Hunter's 6-month sentence is unjust.
See her literally drug was unconscionable. Someone who only weighs maybe a little over 100 pounds to be treated like that.
Hunter was hauled out of court this morning after years of appeals and delays. The crowd here simply said,
If she was white, she wouldn't be locked up. If she was white, she wouldn't be locked up.
Bishop Bobby Hilton, a friend of Hunter, says city businesses should also expect an economic boycott. It comes during the same week hundreds of African Americans are expected to flock to Cincinnati for Jazz Fest.
This should have been a happy week. People are going to come and celebrate a great music fest. It should have been a joyful, happy week. Now it is one of the worst weeks.
Despite the protests, there is hope for Hunter. Prosecutor Joe Dieters and Mayor John Cranley have spoken to Governor Mike DeWine today, asking him to commute Hunter's sentence. But both Hilton and Thomas aren't buying it.
That should have been clearly noted in the earlier letter that came in the court today.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dieters, that is totally ridiculous. I'm sorry, Judge Hunter is not going to accept that kind of garbage.
Now, I did speak with the judge by phone tonight as that protest was happening. He was actually inside his home. He says that he's disappointed that these protesters came to his neighborhood and upset some of his elderly neighbors. He also says he's disappointed that ministers were involved in this protest, but we should point out that Tracie Hunter is also a minister. Now, we also did make contact with the governor's office, and a spokesperson told us that the governor will take a look at possibly commuting this sentence, but they also noted that they haven't received an application just yet. For now, we're live outside the Hamilton County Justice Center. Walter Smith Randolph, Local 12 News. Cammie, Kyle.
Walter, thank you so much. We should note here this lengthy saga all started back in 2014 when Hunter was indicted on 9 counts. She was only convicted of 1, unlawful interest in a public contract. She used her position to give her brother private documents trying to help prevent him from losing a county job. Now, that's a 4th-degree felony. She then appealed her case to every court that she could. Each one said that Hunter received a fair trial. The conviction meant Hunter's law license was suspended and she was forced to leave the bench.